Hello everyone, my name is Ethan and welcome to episode 6 of my road to 1600 ELO on chess.com. Let's hop straight into the game. Alright, we're playing 1506 from the United States. Okay, we're going to play a normal opening, if I get the opportunity. Okay. If he sacks his bishop on f7, like they did in the last game, that's going to make me unhappy. I think the standard line is to go ahead and play d6. I like the idea of just playing here, and if bishop comes back, maybe playing this instead. D6, bishop here, knight here. Looks okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll back down. But if he wants to trade here and give me an open file, I'm certainly okay with that. At some point, I'll be looking to push f5 after I castle long. We need to get rid of this bishop at some point. Let's go ahead and do that now. So if I can trade his light square bishop off and keep mine, then basically all of my pawns are already prepared for me to have a very strong light squared bishop, and that's very handy. Okay, we'll go ahead and trade here. Okay, that's smart. I think the idea is now, I can't take here, but I'm okay giving him two doubled pawns, and specifically a pair of knights. Generally, a bishop and a knight are always better than two knights, except for very specific circumstances. And we do have to decide how to proceed from here. Knight could be looking to come to these squares. May not be a bad idea to go ahead and play c6. If he comes here, not a huge deal. Could just go ahead and play that, honestly. There. If takes, go ahead and take with the knight. Yeah, let's not play too passively here. It'd be lovely to get a knight on that square. He's probably going to be looking to undouble his pawns here. People are so worried about double pawns in like the beginner and intermediate levels of chess. It's not that big of a deal. People are terrified of it though. I also missed that, so if he's not paying attention, I might be able to get that fork in there. So he was paying attention. Okay. Okay. Where does my knight want to live? If knight's here... Stupid fly. Here, knight takes... Check. Queen takes... Pawn takes... That knight has to move, and then they drop that back there. The pawn on b2. And if they don't trade, then I fork the queen and the rook, with the knight being there. But we do need to slow down a little bit. I'm getting a little bit careless, I think. Okay, so we go check. Oop, whoops, I did mess that up for sure, but that's okay. I'm not too worried about double pawns. Plus c5, b6 is still incredibly strong. Knight moves up. I was thinking about playing this anyways. Here. If he comes down here. Where do I go? Okay, that seems like an odd move to me. Could look for this. He's probably looking to do that if I go here. I don't know if I have a strong enough advantage after that trade. Probably better to be on the light squares if I can make it work. But I do think I need to be here to be able to stop the threat of the rook coming here. Here we can look to play b6, a5. If he doesn't move the rook over here, then we basically win the file. Which obviously I'm okay with. That's not an issue on my part. Here, yeah, that's not gonna work. Now takes, queen takes. It would be really nice if there was this check with the bishop, but there isn't, at least not yet. If you're going to play this, he takes, I take, he takes. Not really anything beneficial there. So we get to undouble my pawns. He takes, I take, he takes. here, he comes down there. And then I pretty much need to play this, and that drops that pawn. So we would need to do something different. He takes a6 here, here, and then after he goes here, there's not too much to do there. Might be best to just consider playing d5 here, even though it feels kind of wrong. Look for d5, takes, something like that. Feels wrong though, that's for sure. I might even be able to play b5, then play, and then we have 3 pieces all attacking the same square. That's interesting. So maybe he's looking for this move. Queen still defends, so that would just win a piece. So I could look to do this, to play this with takes. We might need to play b5 first. So that way queen defends that pawn. Okay. Here, takes, knight takes, queen pins. Not super beneficial there. So we can look to come here. He's probably looking to do this. Something similar to that. I'm happy to trade there. Yeah, let's just go ahead and move here. C4 is pretty much begging to be played now. 2 attackers. I've got no defenders besides my queen. He needs to move. Question is, does he come down here? Attacks the rook, prepares this push. Attacks the rook. Let's say I moved up. Takes. Is still fine. Would it be better over here by my king? I don't like that it could be harassed with that move. Let's just go ahead and move here. So if we can make him have to respond to our threats, I think we're looking okay. We might end up with a passed pawn here, but we're going to have to be awfully careful. I might be able to just take this pawn outright, but it's certainly a sketchy feeling move. Here takes. What if we go here? here. There, and then I have to be careful because he could sack. Oof. Yeah, that's a tough one. Or we could just play that. Gives him the opportunity to come there with check. Okay, that is a move we expected. G6. Knight comes here with check. Queen up. Or sorry, king up. How does he proceed from there? I don't really know. He could look to maybe double attack on that pawn, but we even have that move there. Okay, yep, you can take there. If I play h6, there's this check here. And then after I move my king, I lose my rook. So I may need to consider playing rook to h8. Because after check, I can scoot my king down, and I think I'm still safe there. Potentially I could just scoot my king immediately down. And then the attack is not there. Huh. But as soon as the queen is forced to leave that spot, there would have to be, so then I drop that pawn. I think that's possibly the only move that doesn't just lose. Also, if we can get my pawns off these dark squares, I might be able to get that tactic in, which would be very nice. But as soon as I advance this pawn, he can just choose to take here. And then after take, queen takes, I still have that check, so that's not too bad. Wow. Depending on if the queen took, because the pawn could take, and if the pawn takes, then obviously the fork doesn't work because it's not there. Okay. I don't understand quite what we're trying to do here yet. Let's go ahead and do this. I need to make sure if his queen goes here. Never mind, I can still play that. Because if it takes, queen takes, I promote again, and I'm. Oh no, I don't, because he takes with check. Yeah, that's a risky move. I shouldn't have done that. I thought the tactic was there, but it's not. I'm just trying to set it up. He might miss it. It's possible. Whoa! Yikes. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Stupid bug. Yeah, that sucks. I really thought that worked. If we take here, he takes with check, I take, queen stops me on the next move. I take, pawn takes, I push, I take, takes, back, here, right, and then looking for this. Honestly, that looks like a lot of fun, so I'm gonna give it a go. I don't know if it works. As a matter of fact, it probably doesn't work. But the fact that I can get my rook here and potentially on this d1 square is very, very, very enticing. He does have this check that he could put out first. Yeah, it's hard to decide what needs to happen there. Here. And then in this case, bam. I think he probably should have looked to put his queen back on the back ring. But he may have seen something very similar to me, and that may have scared him, and he felt like he needed to do something else. This is probably still not a perfectly winning position. He'll probably consider this check. If he goes there with check, I might consider just going up. But after this check, that would be mate. So if he checks, I move down, he comes back up with check. If he checks, I come here, he forks my rook. Check, I go here, he has this check. But I think after I move away, I'm still threatening that pawn promotion. This got into a really weird position very quickly. He's still winning here. Wow. I was pretty sure he was still winning here. I think that was a blunder, me doing that. It looked like a lot of fun, though. 80.9% on him, 76.7% on me. And as you can see from this graph, just completely winning. And I did have a blunder, and I'm sure that's the blunder. Well, I don't know. Something didn't feel right about taking there. Oh, did they really want me to go straight for the queen? Yeah, that doesn't make much sense to me. I'll look at that a little harder later. I was pretty proud of that pawn push, but I wasn't really thinking about it properly. I think I should have gone straight for this. Wow, okay. What did they want me to do instead? Okay, alright, well. Yeah. I feel bad for my opponent, but I've been in those positions. Sometimes it is hard to find a way out. Okay. Yeah. Tough stuff. Alright, well, thanks for joining me on episode 6. We probably shouldn't have won that. We're up to 15-18. So far, we have a series high of 15-24. So if we get lucky, maybe we can hit that again next episode. Hope to see you guys all in episode number 7. Alright, bye.